Hi everyone, hoping that you can hear me. It's Marianne here. It is 2 o'clock on World Card Making Day. That's on the East Coast. For some of you, I think it's 11 a.m. Can you hear me okay? We're just going to wait a few seconds for a few more people to join and then we'll get started. Hi everyone, can you hear me okay? Oh, great. Hey, Laura. Hi, everyone. Are you all crafting today? Are you just watching all of our videos and getting inspiration and then going to go crazy after I get done? Because then you'll have the rest of the day to shop, the rest of the day to craft. Hi. Okay, let's get started. So welcome to World Card Making Day. I keep wanting to say national, but World Card Making Day. And as many of you already know, watching Donna's video from yesterday and Ginger's video from this morning, we have some great product releases and some gifts for you all to thank you for being great customers. And you get a drink koozie with any order that you place over $50. You can use reward points or you can just straight up purchase for $50 and you will get this amazing koozie. Look at this. Look how crazy cute this is. And of course I matched my shirt to the koozie, sort of. Anyway, I think it's absolutely adorable. It's like a little cowboy boot, if you will. How cute is that? Even without a drink bottle, just sitting on your desk. So we're going to sit it here so you all can see the tiptoe of it while we craft today. So you can get this with a basic $50 order, crowns or no crowns. Now, we have had a slight change because you crazy crafters have already purchased enough where we ran out of the original $100 order free gift. So we've switched it to just an equal gift of the suitcase with full of embellishments. So this is a gift with a $100 order, but you cannot use crowns with this one. You also cannot use crowns with our embellishment bundle. This is if you purchase $125, you will get this one, but you cannot use rewards. So this one you can use rewards or straight purchase. This one here and this one, you have to straight purchase. You cannot use rewards for these. Now, one of the best things that Wendy decided on was if you purchase $125 worth of products through us, you will get all 3 of these items. So if you do make $125, you cannot use rewards, but you will get all 3 free gifts. How great is that? And if you're anything like me, and if you're anything like Ginger, and what she explained in her previous video, that these embellishments, you'll use them like so super quick. I'm always looking for embellishments, something new, something different, something a little different of color. I go through embellishments like crazy. So be sure to remember these deals, these discounts, or these items and what you can use for rewards and whatnot, because if you do 125, you don't want to use those rewards. So I'm going to leave this off to the side. Hopefully I'll leave myself enough space right here to craft with you guys today. So my video today is a little bit different than Donna and Ginger. I am here today to just kind of introduce our new products that we have available. The first thing I want to show, Ginger went through her die crafting or die cutting materials that she produces and created a few cards with you. Donna created some things with you. I'm more about knowledge, giving you some introductions to the products, and I'm going to show you a couple of tips and tricks, and I'm also going to show you several cards that I've made. This World Card Making Week has been literally crazy, busy. Oh, it's been so much fun. And who doesn't love crafting? And, you know, when there's a time crunch too, sometimes I can produce a lot more than when I have a lot of free time. So we have a new backdrop bundle and it comes with 6 plates. Now, I have a favorite. I'm sure you will too. But a few things that I wanted to mention about these dies are that there are two. This one with the little, oh, see, I should have used Ginger's toothbrush trick and got out all of my white paper. You can tell I've already used this. But this one here does cut out those little petals to those flowers. So you will see that this cuts, it trims out the card front, and it cuts out the flowers. This one here is a little different. It will cut the frame, your whole card front base. It will cut out the hearts that you see here, but it will emboss, kind of like poke and stitch your card at the same time. Isn't that one nice too? Sorry about the shadows. It's really rainy here today. I tried to get as much lighting as possible, but it isn't quite working. I can see quite a good shadow here. So now this one here is absolutely intricate, a very elegant card backdrop die. And this one cuts the whole front of the block for your front of your A2 size card, but it stitches. It does not cut through. So don't be expecting this to cut through and create these flowers. If it did cut through, you'd have nothing left. So we just stitched this one. This one also is like a poking type card. This one is great for Halloween. I'm still thinking Halloween with all the Halloween creepy crew cards that I've made. This one is a snowflake card base or card front. And I love this one. I use this a little bit differently for you today, and I'll show you how I use that. But this one pokes. It does not cut. And these two as well. Now, these two are just so super traditional. I love these. I can see these used in a lot of different ways. These also just stitch. Now, all of them cut from the card front, but most of them, they all stitch. Well, except this one. This one only cuts. This one stitches and cuts, and these only stitch. So very, very much like the embossing folders that we've had in the past, except these are dies. You don't need special product to run these through your die cutting machine. All you need is your traditional sandwich, and you send it through just like a die. You don't have to find the proper concoction on what level of your plates that you need to use, with a pad, without a pad, with a shim, without a shim. These just cut right through just like dies do. All of the dies that Ginger's created, you send these through just like those. So I'd love to know which one is your favorite. And I also want to remind you guys that I am not Ginger, and I cannot read comments and talk at the same time. So I will go back after this video and I will answer all the questions that you may have. So keep that in mind. I'm not Ginger. I can't do two things at once. So what I want to share with you today is some examples of how I use these dies. So let's take the snowflake die. I created this North Pole die. How cute is that? And off the top of my head, I cannot recall the kit that this North Pole came from. If somebody in the comments maybe can mention which one that is, I am so sorry. I did not write it down, and off the top of my head, I cannot think. Just take a look at the texture that this gives. Do not look at this smudge mark I have right here. I'm gonna put my finger there. I have animals, and I have dirty fingers, and I can edit that out when I'm showing you the samples, but I can't edit it out when I'm showing you live. So just look at the texture. What I did was cut the front base like you saw, and I cut it in half, or 2/3 maybe, and then I just added a white block and a scalloped border, and I only used a portion of the card front. So now I have this much of portion of it left I can use for another card. Isn't that adorable? So this is a little surprise. This is part of our new sports kit that we have. We have 4 new sports kit: basketball, baseball, soccer, and basketball. Did I say that? Baseball, basketball, football, soccer. Well, if you can't tell where my son goes to college from this card, you will never... Sorry, I have pets, like I said. Anyway, my son goes to Clemson. So when I saw this kit, first thing I had to do was create a Clemson style card. So I used 2 card fronts on this one. I used this stitched diagonal on here on the green, which whoops, I'm trying to get close enough, but I can't hang on to it. I stitched to make it look like the lines, the green grass. And I also used the heart one because who doesn't love baseball? Don't answer that. Don't answer that. It wasn't a question. It was a rhetorical question. But look how beautiful and how much detail that gives on the front of this card. Isn't that beautiful? I need to come down a little. There's too much shadow. So I just love it. So I used 3 different die cuts from the baseball kit. There's also from the football kit. Oh my goodness, I've been saying baseball this whole time. I apologize. So from the baseball kit, how cute is this? Oh my God, I said baseball again. I'm not sure where my brain is. Football, 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 football. Clemson colors on a football card. Isn't that adorable? So I did use that one. Now this one here is the hand, and it is the shaker part of the hand. And I did use this florally looking plate. However, it doesn't look florally when it's on this card. Completely boy friendly, baseball, basketball, whatever sport you want to say for this one. This one can go for anything. It is part of the football kit, but it can be used for any sport out there. Isn't that cute? I love it. And I love the base. So you don't have to show the whole backdrop die. You can cover it still with your embellishments and your foundation dies. It's just adorable. So there's that one. Oh, and then I'm going to go back to this heart one. And my husband is a retired Marine, and we've been to many Marine Corps balls. And I wanted to create a Marine and the spouse or the girlfriend or whatever. And I wanted to use the hearts because of love. And this is from the Jolly Jingles kit, the soldiers. And it is kind of Christmassy, so I did use a Christmas stamp. I could have done any type of a love stamp, maybe something from the hearts or the Valentine card kits that we have. You could have used any stamp set with this, but I did keep it because they were soldiers. I kept it Christmas. But look how beautiful that looks with a framed foundation die, but you can still see the whole plate on the back, the whole metal cut, or the whole, goodness gracious, backdrop cut that is on there. Isn't that adorable? And I created another football card, and I wanted to show you, which one did I use? I used this one. But what I did here is I cut a white cardstock with this stitched backdrop die. And then I took it after I cut it, and I cut out a circle. These are my favorite dies. You'll see a lot of my cards use this one with the circles around the edge. I think that's kit number 20, maybe, I think. I didn't write that down either. But I cut it first, or I run it through the plate first, and then I cut the die that I want to have the background. So cut the background first, and then cut the die. Isn't that cute? So there's so many ways you can use them. It doesn't have to be a whole card front. You can just make detail on the dies or the foundation dies that you have. Super cute. So here's another one. This one is another baseball. I was going to say baseball again, another football card. And you look closely, you can see, oh, too much of a shadow. You can see the detail in this green paper. It doesn't always have to be on white. In this green paper, I used, where did she go? I used this one. And again, this one looked like green grass to me, so I did lines in the grass, kind of like whichever yard line that you were on. So that's just another idea. I did want to go back to this football one first, and I wanted to show you, this is the wrong size die, but so I cut it through the die front first, and then I cut the die. I had this out of order, so that's why I skipped it, sorry. And then you cut this, and then you'll have all the detail from the foundation die and from the backdrop die. So that's just something for you to think about. And as I picked this up, I wanted to ask you guys, which card front do you think is your favorite? Now, these are not individually named. They are a bundle. They will not be sold separately. They'll not be named individually. The whole set is called the backdrop dies. Now, These are something that you will be able to keep forever. Use them on every card, anywhere, anything that you want to use it on. It's a fantastic set. So I highly recommend this set if you haven't purchased it already, which I'm sure some of you have. I'm going to stick this in the little corner here. Now I have one more example to show you, and I wanted to take a minute, and this is my daisy card, and I made it with the plaid looking background, and I use the brand new foundation dies, and if you've, or flower foundations, and if you've been here at all, if you're new here, I am a daisy lover. Make these into black-eyed Susans, whatever, I don't care. My favorite flower from the whole bunch that just released. But I wanted to show you that another example or another way that you can use this background die is I cut it twice. I didn't get anything fancy. I just trimmed down the second one and laid it down on top of the original one. So just 2 different layers, 2 different sizes. Super simple, easy way to make some more depth and more embellishments. So with that being said, I have another card. My second favorite flower is the tulip. And if you know me at all, if you've been here at all lately or around at all, you'll see that I absolutely love rainbows. So I started a rainbow. Of course, I could make another card and finish off the rainbow. So pink, red, orange, yellow. I could have gone green, teal, blue, violet if I wanted to. Super fun. So I do have my stuff set out here to explain to you how I made this card. But before I do, I want to show you the set. This is how I store. You just got a taste and a sample of how Ginger stores all of her stuff. I do not store my stuff as perfectly as she does, or as intricately, or mine's more of a jumbled mess, but it works for me. I try to stay organized with what I have. She has much, much more than I do. So our organizational techniques slightly differ. So I print off the foundation die. So this is die set number 7. I print off the die sheet. I stick it in a folder, and then I have a magnetic sheet that I stick in a 1/2-inch binder. You can't put it in too thick of a binder because they get super heavy. This weighs quite a bit on its own because of the magnetic background and all of the dies. So it gets a little heavy if you put too many. I think I maybe have 10 tops in each binder. So this is what we're going to use to make this card today as well. So, but I wanted to pull this out, and I like to keep it together, and I wanted to just show you how I stored this before I got into the detail of the card. So for this card, I only cut, well, let's go back to the daisy for a second. So I cut this one, I cut this twice, right? So I did waste some paper, not realizing an upcoming idea that I might have had. So this is cut twice. This one is only cut once, but it looks, whoops, it looks very similar if I turn this one to this card, doesn't it? Well, I didn't waste as much paper. So what I did was I ran this die, this background or backdrop die, through my cutting machine with a white piece of cardstock. And then let's set it aside. Then I took the piece of paper that I just ran through, and the die, whoops, sticky hands, the die that I wanted to cut out, and I wanted it in the center of my, in my 5x2 block, or A2 block, 4¼ by 5½. And I, with a couple pieces, I tack it down. So I would tack it over here too. And then I would run it through my machine. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's just show you exactly how this is done. So I just make a sandwich. I run it through. It looks close enough to the middle for my liking. I'm going to run it through my machine. Now, I do have an electric machine. I have the Sizzix electric. As you've noticed, I only have one hand, so it makes it much easier for me. I can keep doing things because I'm so busy all the time. My brain is just going. I can do things with my right hand and run this through with my left by just a push of a button. Super easy, super simple. So this is what I did. Let's move this. and this. So I did cut that out once, the backdrop die. I laid this down. Now I'm going to back this with foam tape, put it all on a card front, and then this one would be raised, put right back in the same spot. And I haven't wasted any paper, but I now have a double layered card front. That's basically how this one went down. Super easy, super cool. So another trick, I absolutely love these shaped, oh, whoops. Obviously you can tell I didn't use much adhesive there. I love these curved shapes, and I want to show you how I did that. I really love to see when people show me how they used something. So this is just something I wanted to share with you today. I did use this die here, and I used the two little flags here. There's two of those. Those aren't necessary. What I want to show you how to do is how to get your stamps curved. And I used the stamps from the Fancy Flower Kit. I just really, really like this. I could tell that it would fit on there pretty well. So with my blue sticky double-sided tape, I'm going to stick my die to the outside of my stamping thing. This is a mini Misty. So yeah, it's right. It's a mini Misty, I think. Anyway, I stamp it. Do you see how that's on the outside? I tacked that down right there on the outside. Then I'm going to take my stamp. Doesn't matter where it's placed. Let me put something white under there so you can see it. It doesn't matter where it's placed on there because my stamp will curve to it, and then my white paper can just be placed anywhere. So if you see, you can take it, you can curve it to your liking. Then you can take your stamp, because usually I just use scrap paper. We'll pretend this is scrap paper. Put it down there, stamp, and now my stamp is curved. So all I did was take the die. It is stuck on the outside of my platform. Curve my stamp, then stamp it. This doesn't even have to stay here anymore. I know it's going to be curved. Can you see that? Isn't that great? I don't know how long it took me. I just realized how to do that recently. Before I was doing it a much more difficult way, which I wouldn't even want to tell you about. It took me quite some time to figure that one out. But I wanted to share it with you so it didn't take you too much time. So anyway, that is how you get a double layer and a curved stamp. I hope that's a useful tip to you. So I'm going to set these aside as well. And I'm going to move on to the next thing that I want to make sure that I tell you. I, again, store all my dies on a metal sheet. Not these big foundation dies. These will stay next to my cutting machine with my embossing folders so that I can have them anytime I want. I don't have to dig them out. So those will stick right there. So my next set is the background foundations. These are brand new. They're amazing. When I first saw them, I'm not going to lie, I thought, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do with these bubbles? What am I supposed to do with this curved heart? How cute is that? Or these butterflies? Well, what I like is that us designers, myself, Ginger, Greta, Donna, we don't see each other's creations at first. So you come up with your own ways to use these dies. Sometimes Ginger may send out one sample, an example, because in her mind, she knows exactly how she's going to use these, but she has no idea what we'll come up with or how we're going to use them. So my first thought was, I'm going to start with something super easy, something that I know I can figure out how it falls on the paper, figure everything out. So I started with using this butterfly die. And of course, when you turn it over, it cuts in a different way than it cuts here. And I put it on a craft piece of paper. And I have to tell you, this is the most simple card probably I have made in a very, very long time. However, it is simplistic, elegant, and it gets right to the point. Sometimes with a sympathy or I got your back or I'm thinking of you, you don't want a lot of fuss and muss on the card. You just want something super simple. And so I kept this butterfly one super simple. Cut it through on cardstock, and then I grabbed another foundation die, trimmed it down very small. You can see that there was more of this die that extended across the page, but I didn't need all of that. I just wanted, I definitely wanted the swirl, and then I trimmed it down quite a bit. So a little bit of pearl accent to stay with the calming of this card. They're a brownish type of a pearl, and I just thought it was super simple, super beautiful. Easy card to make. You can make a million of them. You could do it with any of these shapes. My next card is with the hearts. Now, I didn't want the same type of a card that I had made a second ago, so I placed this down on the bottom of a white panel. Sorry. And I did cover up some of it, and that's okay too. You can still see that there's hearts. I covered up a little and used it down at the base, like as a border. Another really cool way to use those. Let me set these up here so you can see. Now, I did not get a chance to use this one or this triangle one. Kind of reminds me of retro, actually. The retro foundations that Ginger came out with. This one would be super cute with a butterfly or a bumblebee, or even throwing the baseball or throwing the football. I love that one. Super cute. Then I went with these more of a, instead of a twirly type thing, I think I keep calling this kit the squiggly kit. Of course, that's not what it's called. So what I did with this one is I placed this down on my white card front twice, maybe twice, 3 times, to get it to cover the whole entire top of my card. And then now you have snowflakes everywhere on the top of the Christmas tree. Isn't that a cute way to use that? And then, of course, I used the border dies that are a couple years old, but they are super handy. And I just made hills for my Christmas tree. And you have a snowy sky. Loved that idea, too. And then the bubbles. I could not get past making the whale or a fish or the dolphin or a shark with the bubbles. I used these as air bubbles. I did put the bigger circles up top to make it look like it was coming up towards the surface. I thought that was super cute. What else did I make? Oh, so I'm going to set this aside real quick, and I want to show you another little tip. You've probably already seen it on several of these cards that I've made here, but this is a daisy card that I made. You can see that I used a foundation die, and then I put, oops, let me see, this circle die right in the center of it. So all I did was cut a circle out. Actually, I didn't. This is what I did. I set the circle down. Then I placed the starburst looking, it's not really a starburst. I'm not sure what to call it. And then I put those down with tape so that it was in the exact same spot that I wanted it to cut, and ran it through my machine once. That's all I did. And then I added the embellishments to the top. Super easy. Something that you may not think of. You may think that you need to run it through twice. You don't, especially if it fits with inside. Just take the foundation die you want to use and insert the other die. So that was a little trick I wanted to show you. And I think I do it again on this one. Let's see. I loved this one. Remember the Wedding Wishes kit? Look at this little guy. Oh my God, I love it. I made some of these for my friend. She had 4 weddings to go to this fall. We did a rust-colored car. We did colors that would go with each wedding that she was going to. And then she put the names in their license plate. So super cute, right? Same idea. All I did was place my foundation die that I wanted to use. I figured out where I wanted my hearts to be. They needed to be more up towards the top so that I didn't cover or go behind the people too much, so that it was quite close to the top. And then you just tack those down and run it through the machine at the same time. Super easy, but I think showing you twice might just get you the idea of how you can do it, what you can do. You can do that for any of these dies. So that's another little tip. what's my other tip? Oh, yes. Here's another card that I made with the football kit. With football shaped shaker, the sports football. And again, kind of on a rainbow play. I just changed the number from 01 to 10 to 11. You can make any sequence of numbers that you want with those two numbers. Or you could dig out your other dies that you have from us, the alphas or the numbers. You could put letters, you could put more numbers. And I didn't put any bling on this one. I kept it pretty close to, I wanted to keep it a little flat, a little bit less girly, and just kept it simple with a sentiment. So I loved it. I hope you did too. One more thing that I wanted to make sure, I'm going to go over my notes here. I did have to keep notes today because I didn't want to get too busy and forget a few things. But I have one more thing to show you, and that is our bubble and frame foundations. Now these ones are super cute. Again, my storage solution that works for me may not work for you. I want to show you a couple of things that I do that make this one a little bit simpler, or a couple of tips and tricks on what we can use with this die. So bubbles and frames. So obviously the bubbles are the speech bubbles here. How cute are these? How cute would this be above the wedding car or on a football card? Actually, I did use it on a football card. I used a frame and a bubble. I can see using a skinnier bubble up at the top of the wedding car card. You can use these, again, in so many different ways. And of course, as I showed you before, I use a metal sheet, keep all my dies together. But I think I'm gonna go and get what Ginger has for these foundation storages. We'll see. Okay, so I wanted to show you how, or a tip or a trick of what you can do with these cards or these frames. I instantly thought, I don't have an example for you, but we're going to create one real quick. I thought we could make a shaker card or a shaker front with these frames. Look how cute this frame is. You can make it with many of these frames. All of these frames could be made into shakers. I absolutely adore this set. It's probably my favorite release. So I'm just going to run that through the machine really quick. If I sandwich it properly. And I'm just going to make a quick shaker with you guys. And then after that, I am going to show you my sneak peek at the next kit that's coming out. The December kit. It will be the final kit of the year. And I want to make sure that you get a good chance to see that. So these are extras, but I keep these little scraps in a little scrap bucket. So I can go back and do sentiments on them, whatever. So all I want to do, I use wet adhesive. And I used tape runner quite often. I use it all depending on what I'm doing. This was a skinnier frame. I probably wouldn't use it. I did cut a piece of acetate. Now, I do the same trick as Ginger with misting and swiping it through so nothing sticks to it. Try to take that off of my scrap space though so nothing gets wet. I'm going to place that down. And now we've made a see-through card front, right, or a little shaker front, right? Now, we all have these innards of our, this comes from the Endless kit. We have all these extra plastic stuff that gets pulled out of our shaker cards, right? You might have it in a circle that might be for the monster from Creepy Crew or the flower center or whatever. This is one tip for you to use up and to use to create strips or whatever you want to do. You just take your X-Acto knife and a good pen or a good ruler and you just cut them. Oops. You cut and make your own strips. Is it pretty? No. But will it be seen? No. So you just place it down on the background die or on the front of your shaker that you're making. And then you place another one down. This one's kind of at an angle. I did mess this up a little bit, so I'm going to cheat and go back to the other one that I made. You don't need a whole lot. You do want to go from edge to edge for the fact that you don't want any of your shakers to spill out, right? Oh, this one, I'm going to go back to this fat one. That was a little on an angle. I don't feel as though you'll see it if I if I use it there. And then I'm going to go here and finish that up. I do need a little bit more of a piece. So I have these strips that I had ordered from a company. Can't even remember where. I use them a lot, and then other times I don't use them at all. I just try to use up my strips and guts that from the all the inside of my shaker cards. We get so much of that foam. Although now I do, or I should own stock in 3M or Scotch. So the next thing that I will do is fill my little shaker. Let's make a fall kind of one. I'll put a little bit of red in there, a little bit of orange. Now I know we have these little tools that we can put our shaker bits and pieces into so that you can make sure they're all mixed up. That would be like one of these or one of these. But I like to put it in there a little bit at a time, move it around, and then I'll go back, add a little more red, and then they're not all in the same spot when you dump them in. I do the same colors a couple of times. And then I'm just going to fill up because I am an overstuffer. I like to put in way too much toppings into my shakers. I like them to barely shake. I like them to shake, but I like them to be nice and full. But of course, it also depends on who I'm giving it to. Do I like you? Are you good? Do you like my cards? If you do, then I'll give you a big full one. Then I'm going to place that right on top on my adhesive, press that down, and we have ourselves a little shaker. It's not in part of a kit, but it's part of our foundation. So how cute is that? Isn't that adorable? I love it. So you can do that with all of our shakers or all of our frames from the bubble and frame set. So I absolutely love it. I hope you do too. That's literally my favorite set that just released, besides the football set, or maybe I might call it baseball. So I just use a good ruler to cut those strips. But a good way to use up some of your scraps, some of what a lot of people think is trash. So remember, ladies and gentlemen, if you're there, that you can use your rewards and get the koozie. $100, you cannot use rewards, but you will get the koozie and the suitcase. $125 if you don't use rewards, you will get the koozie, the suitcase, and the embellishment bundle. And of course, a phone call is coming in. Sorry about that. I also have dogs, which I'm surprised have not barked. They're right under my feet. Usually they don't go too far from me, but who's ready to see my little sample from the new December kit? It's coming out, I believe, in November, hoping, crossing all fingers. But here's my little sneak peek. It's ho, ho, ho. And I think Wendy gave this one to me on purpose because every morning I text her, good morning, because I always have a question. And she'll say, hi ho, like hi ho, cheerio, or hi ho, or maybe something else. Who knows? Anyway, I think it's super fun. And I think she gave me this one to release or to sneak peek to you on purpose. So this is part of a 6-piece shape. So we're going to get 6 shapes in here. Donna released an example. Ginger released an example. And then this is my example. I tell you what they are, but I want you to go back and check theirs out and find out what theirs look like. And make a comment on my post, on their posts. And you also get in the run-in for a random $10 gift card on each post that or each of our lives. So make sure you comment here. I see a lot of you are. Comment over on both of those lives. Even if you're on the replay watching these, you can make a comment and you will go into the running for the $10 gift card. There are deadlines for those. Do I know what they are? No, I do not. Not off the top of my head. I did not write that down. So, yeah. You're not surprised. I'm sure you're not surprised that I don't remember, but 'tis the season to be jolly. These sentiments go with almost any of our Christmas kits that we have out already, but they go perfect with what's up and coming. I absolutely adore the shapes that are going to be in this kit. They're going to be like nothing that you have seen. So I know somebody recommended took a stab at what might be in this kit, a reindeer, but I don't think there's a reindeer. I'll give you that. But I absolutely love it. So be on the lookout for this. You can go on our website right now, go into the Christmas kit, which I can't think of the name, and you can be notified, and you'll get put in your email to be notified, and you'll get an email when these come in stock, and you'll be one of the first to know and get it before they do sell out. The bundles that we create for these kits are a savings, and those do sell out quite quickly. You can still get all the pieces, but it won't be in bundle form. So again, get to shopping, get your free koozie. That is super, super cute. And without using your rewards, you qualify for these 2 bundles. And I hope that you guys have enjoyed this live. I've enjoyed being here with you today. I'm gonna go back and read all your comments. Oh, the Christmas kit is called Santa's Workshop. So what does that tell you? Who is in Santa's Workshop? That is probably a huge hint on what there is. But you'll get 2 hints if you go back to Donna and go back to Ginger. So we're super happy that you're here. We'll see you soon, and let us know if you have any questions. You guys have a great day. Happy World Card Making Day. Oops.